What is up, everyone? In this video, I just wanted to share with you a piece of advice that has permeated through business, music, and other fields, and I think it's incredibly important. And what it is basically to see things from the customer or user or listener's eyes and ears. Now, what exactly does that mean? It means that, like, if you're a millionaire or you're rich, you can't really always understand exactly how that customer will feel if you just think that you know it already. You really have to understand fully and experience it from the customer's eyes. And there's plenty of great examples of this. One of them was Michael Jackson. He actually would buy a affordable radio and listen to his music through that radio. And when people asked him why, he said it was because that he wanted to hear his music through what the listeners would hear his music from. You see, when you become established, you forget certain small things like that. So instead of listening to his music through 10,000 dollar plus surround sound speakers, he knew that the great majority of his listeners would listen to his music through that tiny radio. Nowadays, maybe it's just headphones, probably earphones or earbuds, and you have to realize that this is what the customer or the listener will listen to that music through, and therefore, those small things can really help shape and sculpt your craft so that the experience is better, or at least intended to be how you want it to be for the user. And in the instance of music, of course, that meant that certain things that would come out better on a surround sound premium speaker would not come out as well on headphones or the radio, and you'd have to adjust for that. Now, of course, there's plenty of other examples in business. There's this investor, his name's Chris Sacca, and Google says his net worth is over $1 billion. He's apparently like a angel and venture capital investor. Again, who knows if that's actually true? Those Google net worth estimates are way off sometimes. However, he recently said in an interview that you have to take into account the cost of a product, even if it's really small. And he gave the example of a $2.99 app install. That might not cost a lot to him, and for him it didn't matter, but he realized that for most people in the world, that was a considerable decision. They would have to think a bit about whether they could spend that money because it was a decent amount, maybe not a huge chunk, but it was important enough to them for them to decide because they don't make as much as he does. These are things that most people forget or forego. And he also went on to make a great point that a lot of uh, successful business people or other people who have grown up in a bubble, great education, and constantly in this bubble, they have a very one-dimensional view of things because they were always privileged in a certain extent. So, long story short, check it out, and well, this thing keeps sticking out. Anyhow, long story short, check it out and really just see how you can use this yourself. I really think that this can be used throughout all sorts of fields. For instance, let's say entertainment, YouTube. Most people watch YouTube through their mobile phones, not a desktop computer or a PC. What does that mean? Well, that means that you really have to start watching your videos through the medium that most of your audience is. And mobile phone experience is going to be a lot different from maybe a desktop experience. Why? Because desktop, high resolution, bigger screen, it's going to be different. The thumbnails are going to be smaller and minuscule, and you're going to have to make them more eye-catching and contrasting to be viewable on a desktop. Otherwise, they're just going to be smushed. As well as the actual video. If you're a YouTuber or a video creator, you have to realize that they'll be watching this on a small screen. So the small tiny things that may be clear on the desktop may not be clear. So keep those things in mind. What type of audio will they be listening to this through? Probably their mobile phone speakers or headphones. So keep all those things in mind, whether you're an entertainer of some sort and you make music videos on YouTube or whatever you do. I mean, Walmart, the guy behind Walmart, Sam Walton, one of the most successful business people in existence, he made it a point to understand and experience the customer experience from their eyes. So he would always be there learning from not just the customers but the employees too. He would crawl on the floor, examine and measure the aisle widths, and he, at the point where he was the richest person in the entire US, he spent a whole day, because that's just the type of guy he is. He was probably wired that way, but he didn't spend it, drinking champagne or living in a mansion. He spent that time, an entire day, sitting in the passenger side of one of those huge delivery trucks to experience how one of his employees and the rest of his employees who were truck drivers experienced their day, so that he could tweak it, see if there's anything that was really uncomfortable or just inefficient that he could help on. So those are the things that I think really separate the best from the good or the great. I think the person who starts a business or whatever else and he's too good, or oftentimes it's not that he's too good, he's just unaware of even doing that, and there's some type of distance between him and trying something out. Like say the founder of Uber doesn't bother to even experience the Uber or be an Uber driver himself. That would be a horrible situation, and that's just an example. Actually, the founder of Uber actually does drive out the Uber, and he's actually been rated as a driver before. So I think that's really important, and just being aware of that's important. In fact, the Uber founder, in a recent interview with Stephen Colbert, he said that he did it for fun. Anyhow, that's just my theory, and it's just something I picked up from my research. Hopefully it helped, and I'll see you guys in another video. Hope you liked this video. Of course, if you're new to this channel is all about self-development and success. You can hit the subscribe button below for free updates every Thursday. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video.